Why are you showing me that guy with cerebral palsy? And then you reminded me of Justin Bieber. You're saying mechanics. What? Are you saying we're trying to make people into robots with that shot? Sete hato soromate shete. Anti-human. Anti-human. You showing me those clots that form in them when they take the shot. Okay, you're telling me to look into the patent and the ideas behind it. It's like robotism or something. And I hear destructive paths, and you're showing me those clots again. Sete atu surumayeshe, anti-human. Destroys the body and the cells. It's like they're trying to make them transhumanism or whatever. I think that's the word. Sete hatu suromate. You show me the mitochondria packed with power, and I hear an overload, and then I hear a depletion of the cells. Te se hatu su. I'm showing you more about this matter and health matters. Patreon of I am. You're saying jam-packed information is more is coming your way, and you will tell all. Sete hatu, the serum and the poison, and what does this mean? Everything hidden will be exposed, and these are keys. You're showing me JFK assassination. You're showing me the CIA. Sete hatu, so you're showing me the Mossad, and you're showing me Jeffrey Epstein. You're saying there's even a connection to that. It ties into that. Sete, I see funneling money. I hear under railroads and grounds. Is that Anunnaki? Sete atu soromahi, blue people. Sit, cities and towns. Sete seha, verbatim. I wonder if they sacrifice people to the Anunnaki. And these people think that they're gods or something. Deities. Sete hatu soromate shirete seha. Showing me the ant people underground, and you're saying cities and towns and colonies, and you're showing me how ants form colonies. Sete atu soromate shete seha. You're saying this is what they're trying to do with transhumanism. Sete, building a colony not of I am. And you're showing me those smart towns or whatever, and Bill Gates. Sete atu soromate, creating human robots. Okay, now I see anti-Semitism and the Jews, and what is their narrative? It is not of God. Okay, he said, what are they doing in the background, blowing up their own facilities? Okay, and he said synagogues of Satan. Sete atu soromateshi. Hard words to give him next. You're showing me Texas. I see some confusion around the state. Sete sehatus, I see a principality of witchcraft over Texas, and you're showing me that Beyonce video that she did in Texas with the red heifers. Sete atu suramate. He said, what portals are they opening up even now over there? Sete atu suramaye. You need to close the portals. Lord, I send a billion hosts to heaven to close those portals in Jesus' name. CERN's opening up portals in Texas, but why? He said, I see gold and treasures. I hear Anunnaki, and what am I telling you? You're showing me the blue people. You're telling me much will be found there. Treasures and gold. And I believe you're talking about Texas. And I even hear oil and oil exchange for my glory. And what is that, Texaco? Is that Texaco or something? And you're showing me Venezuela. I hear a change. I see an oil tanker on the water. I don't know how that goes. Things will be shut down for a time, and I see the markets. I see people enraged, and I hear buying and selling no more. And then I see the black market. And I hear markets closed, and they cannot escape what I'm doing, and I see exchanges shutting down. What does that mean? And now you're showing me the black market. Sete atuso otu omante eti aya. What am I doing next? My fingers upon it. I will press the button and you will go forward, and I hear play. New revelations coming your way. Guys, if you enjoy this content, hit that like button for me. And if you watch me and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe and notification button. Okay, and I have a prayer request because I know sometimes you guys ask me, what do I need prayer for? If you can pray for better equipment, more memory space, and a faster processing system, faster speed, so that I can make these videos, because I have a lot of videos to make, and also high level content coming up, you just said. So yeah, pray for that for me so that I can do everything that the Lord needs me to do regarding media and getting his word out. Okay, so after he gave me this word, I of course studied to show myself approved and look at the things that I found. Before I even played this video, this lady said something very interesting. The lady interviewing this doctor said, "Why do you think that they're doing this?" And she said, "Because they're not human." And then I started to think about it. Wait a second. These people, oh no, she said, "Why do you think they're doing this? Because even like their children could affect their children, like these wicked people, right?" So the lady said, "Because they're not human." And then I thought about it, like this all connects to each other. These people who are doing this stuff to come against us using these vaccines, maybe they're not even human. Maybe they're a hybrid race. Maybe they're shapeshifters and stuff like that. And they want to, okay, he just said control the masses. And I hear a hybrid. Oh, okay. They're trying to make us, a hybrid race. And he's showing me the Watchers, how they interbreeded, because they want to control the masses. They want to control us. And I see a Nephilim species. It's like they want to make us like them so that they can control the masses through technology and digital systems and frequencies. Wow. He just said corrupting the DNA, and everything hidden will be exposed. And he's showing me the chemtrails. He's showing me nanobots in the food. He's showing me, which, remember guys, I told you the revelation of the ringing in the ears. It's because you probably have some nanobots in you and they're monitoring you. Yes, this sounds so nuts. It's like, but oh my, yes, I can show that Alex Jones video too, Lord, so that they know what I'm talking about. When he took the scanner and he scanned, and it was going off for these things in the people. Lord, seriato surumate she transhumanism. Okay. And I see AI technology, I see robots, and you reminded me of the movie I Am Legend. Seriato trying to control the masses through technology, and I see the mark of the beast, and I see a chip on people's hands. What? Seriato surumaye shit. I see the number 666, and I see AI. And movements will be played on the chessboard. I see somebody drinking something. And he said, "What are they consuming? Not of I am." And I see luciferase. And then I hear a magnetic glow. And I hear pulling. It was like pulling the people/forces. Say it again, Lord. Seriatu forward. Okay, it's like a magnetic glow in them, and that magnetic glow is pulling them forward to something. It's like a magnetic field in them, pulling them to something. And then I hear radiation poisoning. I see the person drinking that luciferase again. It kind of reminds me of how you drink dye when you go to the get an X-ray or something, or MRI. Seriato surumaye. Okay, he just said, he said, hold off. He's going to tell me more, but I'm going to play this video. I wasn't expecting him to say all that. I'm going to play this video, and then we'll see if he has something else to say, but watch this video.
Those then are recycled to become these bacteria and these parasites.
Is this where it may come together with the work that you and Todd have done on the wireless body network? And that, because when people hear, I'm going to be honest with you, when I first heard, although I get it now, and people first hear, hey, they can turn on, whether it's 5G or some other frequency apparatus that we're not aware of, the general public's not aware of, turn something on and up the frequency of, say, flu-like illness, and then tell you, oh, there's a pandemic. Is that the connection?
100%.
Talk to me about that. Let's get specific, because I know you brought some visuals. Let's get into that, because we were about halfway through the first segment, and I want to make sure we get these materials in. They're really valuable.
Okay, so you're absolutely spot on with that. And so wireless body network systems are connected to devices, the 5G, but now it's become this, telecommunication health, telemedicine. Well, that is also, when you think about it or you look at it more closely, that is a surveillance network as well. And how that is able to happen is, the trigger is 5G, the connection, but it is also because of the pharmaceutical medicines that are in us, the vaccines, the contaminants, because what we discovered, and Dr. Ruby, this is the most probably important aspect that I want people to understand, dating back to the early 80s on patents that we've dissected or, researched. These ingredients, hundreds of ingredients have IP addresses to Department of Energy's supercomputer, IBM supercomputer, as well as Microsoft.
Going back how far, Lisa?
To the early 80s.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so is it possible by spreading the cesium and other metals that are conductive? Remember, yes. Mike, I'm going to tie something to Mike Adams, who was the only person who would step forward when I brought Richard Hirschman's story to the world for the first time in January 2022 of the white fibrous clots, Embalmer clots that were only out of arteries and veins. People like Ryan Cole sat on it for 12 weeks, making excuses. Finally, Mike Adams accepted the invitation. I hooked him up with Hirschman. He analyzed those clots, have nothing to do with human tissue or blood. Here's the key, Lisa. He said they were loaded with cesium and other very rare and toxic, rare to the human body, toxic conductive metals. We just put that together.
Yes, and
1980s, Lisa said.
And we've been thinking are those clots? This is probably a prototype. They're demonstrating and implementing a system to make our bodies really a factory for their electrical parasites, bacteria that will be a power source.
Okay, let me stop you for a minute. I'm sure you've been asked this question before. This is a fun question for me. If these psychopaths are spraying the cesium for years over, where do they keep their own children? In a bunker?
I know. Well, it makes you wonder, are they
living on ivermectin?
To really believe this? They're not of this world. They're a different species than us. They're converting humanity, all God's living beings, to create the energy source that is sustainable for them to survive.
I see. That's the theory. Okay.
They're tolerant of our world right now. And because all of these metals, Dr. Ruby, and how they oxidize, they're corrosive, and the extremely aggressively toxic chemicals that they soak these already electrical, contaminated bacterias in, and then put them in through a vaccine or AKA a patented virus, and force us to take. So it's this, and because they're a criminal mafia organization on a global scale, we become their supply and demand.
Wow.
We're a commodity.
Lisa, can you, so that I can help the audience understand, can you call up as you're explaining some of this, the pieces that you brought today?
Sure.
Which ones would relate to what you're talking about?
Let's bring up the one that looks like it's not the picture. It's just the diagram.
Yeah, the diagram. Sure. That is the wireless, the applications of wireless sensor networks. Okay. Tell us why you brought this, and this looks fascinating. I want to hear what your findings are in this.
So this is just a really good visual on exactly what wireless body network systems are.
Wow.
And it's so the vaccines they have multiple roles and responsibilities, and they are pre-programmed. These bacteria, Dr. Ruby, and yeasts and molds that are ingredients, and the chemical compounds, they're all mixed and fused in together. And because the DoD is involved, and because Department of Energy, they are pre-programmed and trained with these responsibilities to detonate when they get into us. They are programmed to a specific area in the body and to destruct.
And I want you to explain to the audience how you know that, because I have an idea of how you know it, but they're going to say, well, how do you know that? That's far-fetched. What evidence have you seen? Have you seen Department of Energy documents? Blah, blah, blah. So let's go there.
Okay. So the Department of Energy has a database it's their genome database network. They are in collaboration with numerous universities and NGOs, for funding. But they have collected, because they spearheaded, as I said earlier, the contaminations of cesium-137. These labs then will have continued up until recently. They're consistently through all these, decades, take samples. The Department of Energy has stores. They've become synthetic, they're digitalized, and they are all mutated with various chemical compound contaminants that register globally as, on EPA list, as environmental contaminants. In their database, Dr. B, they have over 500,000 organisms that are experimental organisms right now, and over 470,000 bacteria.
Wow, that's the foundation. Dr. David Martin has said many times there are 75 already ready to go biological weapons. Those could be payloads all ready to go with all the things you've talked about, Lisa, in different delivery systems.
100%.
They're going to try to get it into, so carry on. I just wanted to make that connection. You see the difference?
100%.
Yeah.
And I said this to Todd, and it was, I call them downloads from God, is because I've been doing some research on some of the legal and legislative acts, that coincided and aligned with all of this, as the government strong arm has been coming in, Health and Human Services, has been creeping into that pharma world to merge into all as one. I mean, it's just a huge complex.
Yes, it is.
And correlating with that, so in 2004, Bush Jr., when he was the president, signed the Project BioShield. That really was the foundation for what we saw come in, and the fear of these making these aggressive bacteria and viruses bioweapons.
Wow, what a scumbag. What a scumbag, Lisa. Right? Huh? What a scumbag.
What a scumbag. So I started, that's when they started to amp up the vaccines for, the possible anthrax or botulism or these eradicated diseases that aren't. They're just aliases and renamed and have been advanced. But through that process and giving themselves legally the authority to do that, and this might be a little hard to wrap your head around, but it makes sense when we see what's going on. They being, the overlords, the cult, Todd calls them the owners, the freaks, I call them psychos. They are turning humanity into the very bioweapons that they say they're protecting us from. Right.
That makes sense.
They're filling us with those. And another thing that you'll understand this because you worked, you were on that side of seeing the pharma. And again, this is an opinion that I've come to a theory. And I have really gone through several patents, read them all. And when you start noticing this very consistent pattern throughout of the language that they use, all of a sudden a pathogen, the word pathogen will turn into, they start referring it to as a causative agent. Give
a couple of examples if you could.
So in the Moderna vaccine, so I found the Moderna spike protein recipe for their mRNA for the COVID vaccine. It was invented in 2000. It started to be invented in 2007, and then people kept taking on the recipe for it. I call them recipes to advance it a little bit more. But it was pitched in 2015 to be approved and granted. And they refer to the ingredients as, because they use over 152 extremely aggressive pathogens as ingredients inside that spike protein recipe for that mRNA hydrogel. And they use it through a compound M-cherry hydrogel.
And they refer to the pathogens as causative agents? So they're creating the causative agent. Then they're saying, oh, look, we've got this coming on the horizon. Lisa, you reminded me of something. You actually solved a 4-year mystery for me on something inadvertently. When President Trump signed in September 19th of 2019, he signed that executive order that authorized the new vaccine technology. Fauci went before Congress 2 months later on December 14th. The transcript is in the public domain. This is important. And he explained that there would be self-replicating nanoparticles, and he broke it down. And guess who he was presenting it to? And I always wondered for 4 years, why the heck is he before that committee? Why isn't he before like the NIH or something? He was before the House Energy Committee, the subcommittee on oversight and investigations. So you just tied that whole thing together.
Okay, so now I was trying to find the video for you guys with Alex Jones and the scanner, and I actually found something else. I tell you, nothing is a coincidence. It literally proves what the Lord just said about microchips and the mark of the beast. Take a look at this from Alex Jones's Twitter or X.
The contact tracing application took the fabric of my reality and just roughed me. I mean, it just made me question everything.
The government is going to grant themselves powers unilaterally to create greater control over American society and global society.
COVID is critical because this is what convinces people to accept, to legitimize.
Upload complete.
Total biometric surveillance.
It's always the data. It's the crack cocaine of Silicon Valley. We are already living inside the architecture of totalitarianism.
We need not just to monitor people, we need to monitor what's happening under their skin.
I know my husband is not vaccinating people and putting a microchip in their arm because that technology doesn't even exist and he's never uttered the words out of his mouth, so.
Microchips and tracking devices are embedded in the vaccine. Is this accurate?
We have 6 MAC addresses that are pulsing
Bluetooth signals, and all we are is surrounded by tombstones.
So can someone explain to me why we're getting EMF emissions off grave inside of a Faraday cage, please?
So we've seen the reports of individuals having unlicensed MAC addresses post-vaccination. I've seen evidence of that myself.
One of the requirements that it just changed the entire course of the conversation and frankly my life, that's when lipid nanos came into the conversation.
These are not vaccines, these are not biological. As you go through the patent in section 219, it explains how they are self-assembled nanoparticles, and they're fully programmable.
From a technical perspective, if I can retrieve data, I can send data.
DARPA calls it transhumanism.
I mean, can you hear what I just said and not want to just step away?
Blood samples aren't supposed to have blinking lights, but there they are. They're little dots. They move across the slide, and they're blinking. This was brain tissue that had been sitting in a jar of formalin for 6 months.
Even if the body dies, they continue.
Yes, apparently.
All of your biometric data, your location, your privacy, it's gone. If you took the vaccine, you are the router. You are a communication device now.
This is Christina from the home of the bracelets that make you feel blessed. Who's calling?
Yo, what's good? This is your brother in Christ, the one that sells the Christian t-shirts. Yo, I got a question for you.
Yo, Alex.
More serious, one of my customers told me your bracelet made them worship on aisle 7 in Walmart. Is this true?
Serious? Like end time prophecy serious? Or like my package better arrive today serious?
Bro, it happened. Your bracelet activated ministry on level 10.
Bruh, absolutely. The glory hits instantly.
I'm saying the saints want to know more about this bracelet. They want to know which product carries that kingdom power. So I'm asking simply what the entire church is talking about. Maybe you could tell me more.
But listen to this, bruh. I heard that your t-shirts had someone preaching at the gas station.
It's time to wake up! Why are you sleeping? Why are you sleeping? Today is the day! Because if you were to die today, heaven or hell? Listen, man.
Brother, it happened. The shirt activated ministry on level 10. Now we know it's not the shirt, but the anointing. Just how the Lord used Paul's handkerchief. He can use anything. He can even use a donkey to prophesy. But in this next end time revival, he's using us. And our hands are blessed. And everything that we make, the remnant of God will prosper. That's why these bracelets and these t-shirts are a hit. And they will point people to Jesus, and he will get all the glory. So with all that being said, what are you saying, bro?
We can match it with the bracelets to the kingdom shirts, man.
A bracelet and a t-shirt. Together, imagine the power. People will be walking into the glory before lunchtime. You know what? There's only one answer to this. We join forces.
This is going to be a holy merch alliance. People will be so blessed that strangers are going to start asking for prayer. Think about it, all right? Salute.
Perfect. I will tell them. Get your Glory Changers bracelets today. Look blessed and bold for the kingdom.
Amen.